There's a question that's been plaguing me for a little while, and it was something that came up because people kept saying he didn't deserve to die. So I then wondered, who does? Like, I remember these two people on death row that so much of the nation campaigned against their meeting of the end. Campaigned because it was either proven that they didn't do it or it wasn't proven that they actually did. So much campaigning against it, and yet I forget who it is, but I think the Florida one might have been Bondi or somebody just recently. I think there was a Louisiana one or a Texas one or something just recently. Black mental health man who gets slapped with the passing of someone they didn't do, and yet his life was still taken legally by the state. Did he deserve it? Who is the arbiter of deciding who deserves to die? Who gets to make that choice that the harm you put in the world does not get to come back to you in its most violent manifestation? What decides that for you? I didn't want to see that video. And like so many others, we accidentally saw it. I don't watch those kind of things. I don't even watch them in movies. And the medical professionals on here, the EMTs, the emergency room, the nurses, the doctors, they all say that he was gone within seconds. He likely didn't even register it. So there was nothing slow and painful about it except to those of us on the outside. I mean, I immediately closed the video because I had that privilege, that luxury. But those who were in the audience, they will forever see what they saw. And these are all the generation who grew up with shooter drills, who knew terror every time there was some news announcement similar to one that came out that day, that there was a high school or a middle school or an elementary school or a movie theater or a grocery store or a church or a 4th of July celebration. Or people keep saying that they were just opinions. You know what's an opinion? That a woman doesn't have a right to extinguish a life that's growing within her, even if that life is not viable. That opinion became policy, became law, became a catalyst for so many other people's death. You know what else was an opinion? That women were property of their husbands, and no one should interfere in marital problems, not even domestic violence ones, because he had that right. That's an opinion, which again led to policy, which again led to death. Either his or hers, because some people's grandpappies just disappeared. You know what else is an opinion? Is that the way that a woman dresses invites a man to put his hands on her and take what he deems is his. And that opinion became policy, became protection by the law, and led to death. You know what else was an opinion? That black people were unintelligent and incapable of getting where they go without the assistance of DEI. You know whose opinion that was? And it's a commonly held opinion amongst people of white evangelical church. And over the years, that opinion has led to some huge medical malpractice in which black people were the subjects, and their tolerance for pain and mutilation, sterilization, and sickness was tested in the name of science. And these became sanctioned practices via law. And of course, you know what it led to for some people: death. Who deserves it? The person who preaches or espouses the hate that often leads to policy or enraging a mass that then leads to violence, that often ends up in policy or law or death? Or the person who's often the brunt of the story, the ones whose lives are politicized, legislated, and debated as if they are not given the God-given right of autonomy and independence and human dignity. That man said some awful, awful, awful things. And it's not just the algorithm that showed them to me. It was me going to his own pages, because I never really heard of him before this, watching his own videos and his lackluster debates, hardly intelligible, hardly intellectual, full of fallacies, treated as mic drops, but they weren't real arguments. And it's a grown man debating children, 18, 19, etc. These seeds of hate grow trees from which bodies hang. This is American history. This is the blood-soaked ground of actions past. Atrocities done to Native Americans, Chinese, indigenous peoples, the Mexicans who were here first, obviously the enslaved black people, Irish people as well, over and over and over again. Like, do y'all even know how Hawaii came to be? The hypocrisy within this country to demand prayer, to demand grief, to demand solace and comfort and exaltation in this moment. It's so entitled, so privileged, and so... It would be laughable if this wasn't real life. Who deserves to die? And who gets to say whether or not someone does?